My name is May Hong. I am the speaking voice of Mira from K-pop Demon Hunters. And this is Moana Nui Podcast. Signing off. Happy fans. Do it with me. Happy fans. Happy Hon.
What up, people? How y'all doing?
Chilling, man.
All right, cool.
Hello.
Hello, Candaysee. We know you're happy. We can see that.
Okay.
I'm no. Please, get it all out your system. I mean, we're gonna talk about it later on anyway. But go ahead, get it all out your system.
Yeah, I'm gonna not talk trash about them until later.
I mean, you guys have your teams on, and I realized that I ran in from work, and I was like,
are
I had
more
the
than
shirt
encouraged to wear the paraphernalia of your squad. I don't discourage that. I mean, this is a sports environment. We talk sports,
right?
So
Truth.
You should be. I mean, when have you not during football season seen me wear Eagles gear? Like, I'm always wearing something with Philly on it during football season.
True.
So,
I mean, and plus,
Uh-oh.
and where I'm seated, pornography, absolutely.
oh,
I need to find a picture of the Ralph that I have behind me, because they're about to tear it down.
Okay. Well, let's get into it, and I would just say buenas noches. Es un nuevo año y estamos encantados de estar de vuelta con nuestro episodio de enero de Moana Nui Presents Geek Speak On Sports. El 8 de febrero está a solo 25 días.
You've been studying on Duolingo? Good job. I don't know what you just said, but hey, y'all, welcome.
I don't need Duolingo for beginner Spanish.
I love it though. Aw. You didn't roll your R's though.
Me hablo un poquito español.
So do you roll your R's or not?
Can you roll your R's, or did you never pick that up?
Erro or R.
I can't roll my R's, which is probably the reason why I switched to French instead of Spanish.
Because there's a difference between. Because see, when you roll your R's, that's the difference between pero and perro.
Yeah.
When I was first learning Spanish in school, that was one of the things that I won't necessarily say I struggled with, but it took me a minute to wrap my what.
Oh gosh, that is Irishiya Imasen. I'm rusty because I'm blanking on one of the characters. I don't want to mess that up, but that is Japanese.
Yes,
someone was speaking Japanese.
That's what I'm taking Duolingo for, is Japanese.
Oh, okay.
That's another show though, because I watch a crap ton of anime. So
okay.
And this is why dubs are better. I don't need to learn.
They're not.
Not that there's anything wrong with learning a new language, but I don't need to learn a new language with dubs.
I prefer to learn a new language, which is why I watch subs.
That's fine.
Can you? I mean, I'm a nerd, but not all the way. What?
Blurography, don't nani me.
What?
Yeah,
a dub and a sub.
That is the kanji for nani, which means what?
Oh.
Yeah, don't nani.
But we like blurredography.
Oh, absolutely.
We should invite him onto the show.
Blurredography is one of the coolest dudes around.
Come on in.
You're only saying that because he's a Falcons fan.
No, that's not true at all. Because
that's one of the reasons.
There are some really shitty Falcons fans out there, and I will be talking about them later.
Yes, they are.
And I don't even know if they really count as real fans.
Oh my goodness, that is horrible.
Yes, I am that dude who calls people's fandom into question.
That's fair. Well, while we up here killing time until Q shows up, let's go ahead and get into oh gosh. Let's go ahead and get into the dub. We've been starting with this ever since the season ended. The big news is the CBA stalling between the league and the players union. And it's to say it's a mess is an understatement. But before we get into the depths of that, I do want to say that the 3-on-3 Unrivaled League started last week, currently airing on True TV and TNT. Games are Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and Monday. So you want to watch games, please tune in. It is a very phenomenal league. If you missed last year, you missed some great basketball from top to bottom. I am particularly looking forward to next month where they have their mid-season one-on-one tournament because, man, woo! If this year is anything like last year, we are in for a treat. So please watch Unrivaled. Now, back to the business at hand with the WNBA.
So, wait. Where can people watch that?
True TV and TNT.
Okay.
Are the networks that it airs on. So, and they're typically on the weekends from Friday to Monday. Matter of fact, upcoming games are this Friday the 16th, Saturday the 17th, Sunday the 18th, and Monday the 19th. So TNT and True TV are the networks to turn into to watch those games. All right. So the CBA, there is a deadline for midnight this Friday to reach some type of agreement. It's not going to happen.
No.
Already at an impasse. Both sides have pretty much said we ain't making no headway. There's a moratorium on league business. The Players Association has advised players who have designations on them to not sign any new deals until a new CBA has been signed. Teams are trying to hurry up and pressure some players to sign their tenders based on there being a restricted free agent or not, so they can keep them under the old designations and the old rules for money allocation, which is dirty, but standard business practice. What the league is willing to do is, I would say it is a step in the right direction from what I've read, but it is still grossly underwhelming what these players earned. I'm going to read a bit here from an article on ESPN in that the league proposed a system where players would receive, on average, 70% of the net revenue over the lifetime of the new CBA agreement. There would be uncapped revenue sharing component, a raise of maximum salaries above 1.3 million and growing to nearly 2 million over the lifetime of the new CBA, with average salaries being above 530,000 and growing to more to 780,000 over the lifetime of the new CBA, and minimum salaries being more than 250,000 in the first year, with a salary cap for each team being 5 million in the first year, not including revenue sharing payouts, and will grow in line with revenue growth in the next few years afterwards. It is important to note that in 2025, the WNBA Supermax was barely $250,000. The average salary was $120,000, and the minimum was just over $66,000. The salary cap was $1.5 million.
That is ridiculous.
So the players, in documentation obtained by ESPN during November negotiations, the players were looking for a projected salary cap of $12.5 million in 2026, with approximately a $1 million average player salary with a max player salary of $2.5 million. In recent weeks, basically the end of December, beginning of January, the union has proposed a salary cap closer to $10.5 million as part of a system in which players will receive about 30% of the gross revenue. So that's where we are. That is the impasse. And I don't think the players are asking for too much. What the league is doing is quite dirty, because you talk about 70% of the net revenue over the lifetime of whatever the CBA is. That's pretty much after you've paid the taxes and everybody else, the lifetime, not annually, the lifetime. If this CBA is 4 or 5 years, that's it. That's not what the players want. They because remember, they're only getting 8% currently,
which is
annually, right? So for them to ask for 30 is, and I'm pretty sure that's like, and of the gross, that's a total brought in before you got to pay everybody else,
right?
And the taxes and whatnot, right? So 30% of the gross is not a big ask. For you remember, 5 teams are being added because we're getting 2 more this upcoming season, 1 new team last season.
Mm-hmm.
So a total of 5 teams between the 1 new team last year, 2 upcoming, 2 more over the next 2 years at least. And each of those teams were purchased for around $500 million. Not to mention a new contract deal with primary partner ESPN to broadcast these games in conjunction with other networks like True TV, Amazon Prime, or whatnot. But the main partner being ESPN, who shelled out $1 billion for TV rights to these games. And you're trying to nickel and dime the players down to $1.5 million of is what max players are going to get.
I mean, when it goes back to what do we discover, or not, I shouldn't say what do we discover, but what do we talk about with the women's March Madness and the meal plans that they had? Like, what was it, a couple of scraps in a plastic bag? And somebody needs to realize, or I don't know if realize is the word, the WNBA, women's sports is just as important as men's sports. Period, hands down. And these little piddling amounts of resources that get pushed in their direction is ridiculous. Like you said, $500 million for a team, ESPN tossing out $1 billion for the airing right. This is ridiculous. The question I have, and I don't know that anybody actually knows the answer to this. Has there ever been a financial audit of the WNBA to see just exactly where the money goes?
That is a good question, because that's what I was sitting here thinking the whole time.
Because again, like you said, currently they're getting 8%, and I need for people to quit spreading the false narrative that WNBA players want to be paid like NBA players. That is not what they want.
Right.
They want an appropriate percentage, not an exact dollar amount. And that's something that people either don't realize or don't want to acknowledge as the truth.
That part. But this all goes back to the way this backward society works anyway in this country, where women make 12 cents, 78 cents on average.
Yeah.
For every dollar a male earns in just regular everyday life.
Yeah.
And it's jacked up. It's not fair. And unfortunately, society as a whole here in this country is numb and used to it and just accepts it as this is just the way things are. Mainly because you have industries in which men lose their ish because a woman is making as much as them, if not more sometimes. And they tend to find out and want to throw a hissy fit.
Yeah. I mean, hell, if you're better than me at something, you should make more money than I do.
Absolutely. Candaysee, any thoughts that you anything else you want to add or?
No, you guys have done a great job advocating. So thanks. Appreciate you.
No problem.
What's in your cup? Is that a mule?
No, it's not a mule. This is my goblet I got from the Georgia Renaissance Festival back in 2018. And
is it mead?
Kool-Aid.
Oh,
It's Kool-Aid. Mm-hmm.
I am not going to judge because you didn't judge me earlier.
She doesn't know what Kool-Aid is.
No, she doesn't.
We'll explain later off air. I don't want to do that.
Is it grown people's Kool-Aid?
It's Kool-Aid. So we're going to move on. Look, like I said, midnight expiration. There's nothing else to be done. But if you want to know more about what the players are asking for and what things are coming out, dig online. Nafisi Collier and Neko Gumake, who's the president, have issued statements over the last couple of days and last week about the state of negotiations. You can find all their statements out there. They've been reported on. They've spoke candidly about what the players are asking for. It is not like they're asking the league to break open the piggy bank and just give them everything. They want their fair share, and they should be paid as such. This league is now, the popularity of this league over the last 4 years warrants a change in how these players are paid, because it's gross and disgusting. So, but again, on a positive note, Unrivaled, like I said, has started back up. True TV and TNT is where you can find those games every Friday through Monday. Excuse me. And great basketball action. Check it out if you're, want to watch some true, fundamental, exciting basketball. Moving on to next topic of business, CFP. And this has been interesting. So if I told you at the beginning of the college football season that the University of Miami and Indiana were going to play for the national championship, you probably say I was on something.
Possibly.
Let's put it this way. Miami, probably not. Indiana, definitely.
Yeah, I never put it past Miami to, get their ish together and make a run for it. I never put that past Miami just because they've got history on their side.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's the same as if you were to say, well, we expect Alabama to be in the playoff because they were behind it. Yeah, they've got legacy. So no, I'm not the least bit surprised about Miami, but Indiana, yeah, I wouldn't have expected that.
It has been a wild playoff, and much like last year, this 12-team format. And this is just me personally. This 12-team format leaves much to be desired because if anybody remembers, the top 4 teams last year got a bye, and teams 5 through 12 played first-round games. The second-round matchup saw all 4 top seeds lose, and some of them badly. This year,
the best idea.
This year, same thing, except they retooled it. Instead of the top 4 seeds being conference champions, they made the top 4 seeds the 4 best teams in the country, regardless of whether they won their conference championship or not. Right? And 3 of those top 4 teams still lost, and one of them very badly. So I don't know what they have to do as far as retooling, but it's not good where in 2 years, only one of your top 4 teams after the bye round wins a game. And that happens to be Indiana, who's the number 1 team in the country.
But if you're good enough, because Indiana made it through, And it's not like they had any hiccups. They were, playing.
Mhm.
So maybe this just exposes the college football rankings on people being the best team, because if you're supposed to be the best, you should be okay after having an extra week of rest.
Supposedly.
I mean, I'm just saying, because
I hear you.
As someone who is a bit of a casual college sports fan, I have always said, as long as this is a system built on someone else deciding if you're good enough to be in the rankings, it's never going to be solved unless we get to a pure numbers-based system. And it doesn't have to be exactly how the NFL does it. I'm sure there are other ways to go about figuring.
There's no way to do it the way the NFL does it. You're talking about over 120 some odd schools in Division I.
Again, this was like I have faith that somebody will figure it out. Just the numbers. If the rankings are based purely on the numbers, to me, that's the only way. Well, and that's the rub. That's the rub.
What numbers are you talking about the rankings being based off of?
I mean, to me, in an ideal situation, would just be purely based on your record.
Well, then people are saying, well, the SEC is so good, so their schedule is harder, which it's actually not, because if you look at it, they play like crappy teams half the time, but
beat them.
They'll say that, but then get spanked.
But again,
well, the SEC ain't been right since a particular coach at Alabama stepped down.
Let's say Nick Saban. Since Nick Saban
you
left.
said it, I didn't. But since he stepped down, the SEC has not had a representative in the championship game. So
Ole Miss tried it.
Ole Miss got screwed, and I'm not going to deny that.
I was actually rooting for the little champ. Is the Chambliss boy? Yeah.
I was actually very surprised at Ole Miss.
Mm-hmm.
Well, they got there. Unfortunately, they got screwed because the referees, and again, there were referees right there at the back of the end zone watching that pass, watching that defender yank that receiver down on both the front and backside of his jersey. You can't tell me he didn't see that. And people are like, well, slow down in super slow motion. Yeah, you can see it. No, I saw that in real time, because my thing is this receiver's trying to jump for the ball and he's being yanked backwards by both sides of his jersey. How do you not throw a flag? And the rationale was that, well, on a Hail Mary play, I'm like, this wasn't a Hail Mary play. This was one-on-one. It wasn't a crowd. In a Hail Mary, there's a bunch of people all clustered together. They were running down the sideline. And not only was this a grab in the end zone, he was literally yanking on him from the 5-yard line through the back of the end zone, pulling his jersey the entire way. And again, this is, you saw this super slow. No, I saw this in real speed. And I wasn't surprised that there wasn't a flag, because, again, at certain points during the game, it always comes down to, do the referees want to do the right thing, or are they trying to get out of there and go home? And these referees are trying to get out of there and go home.
Or do they have some other incentive for the call that they make or did not make?
Are you suggesting collusion?
What are you saying?
I'm throwing out suggestions.
Suggestions, sir.
I'm just saying.
Why are you Mouse? I just realized. Why are you Mouse?
Devil in a blue dress.
Oh.
You've seen it, right?
Yes.
Okay.
All right then.
So
but why are you feeling that froggy today?
Today?
Oh my gosh.
Today?
I mean, I'm just saying, you haven't put up Mouse in like forever.
No, that's been there for a while.
Okay, I just didn't notice. Okay, next.
Yeah, that was...
I remember the Mr. ATL for life, but I do not remember the mouse there. Okay. Well, there you go.
It was there for the December show too.
It used to say something else, but no, it's been mouse for a while.
So, I just keep calling you by your government name, so I'm sorry.
I know.
Furious, as you mentioned, about that, this is really going to bake your noodle. The commissioners of the SEC and the Big Ten, the two conferences whose hands are heavily involved in this playoff format, are at an impasse about expansion of the playoff. One of them was to expand it to 16 teams. The other wants to expand it to 24 teams. These are negotiations and discussions that happened last week, by the way. Yeah, that look in your face right there, Candaysee. Yes. Why do we need to expand this playoff even more?
Money.
Well, so people are like, oh, that's not nice.
Blurredography, I want you to know, hold on. Specifically to Blurredography for this comment, I want you to understand that tonight's show is brought to you by the letters S, T, F, and U.
Yeah.
Enjoy the rest of your evening.
Hilarious.
So, I'm sorry, Candaysee. I my apologies for interrupting, but no, go ahead.
I lost my train of thought after that.
The expansion and the money aspect of the playoffs.
Oh, yes. So I was going to say that, I feel like not just the money. I think that, what are they trying to go to, 16?
Either 16 or 24. And that is the impasse, because one of them wants to push to 16 and one of them wants to push to 24 over the next 2 years.
I feel like if they do the 24, well, I guess it does leave one person out, but it keepers, if you're in the top 25, you get in.
Has there been any pushback or commentary from the other conferences on the matter?
As if other conferences have a say so or any power or authority. Understand that the last dozen or so champions have either been from the SEC or the Big Ten.
Fair.
I couldn't even tell you the last Pac-12 school, when the Pac-12 existed, or Pac-10 as it was, to win the championship was USC. That was Matt Leinart, Reggie Bush squad. The last ACC team to win the national title was
it was Clemson?
Clemson. Clemson was the last ACC school. That was with Trevor Lawrence.
Yep.
And the last Big 12 school to win the title was Texas with Vince Young.
Yep. Damn.
Right. Those are your outliers. So that tells you the last time that the other conferences have won a title. And again, because remember, Michigan won it last year.
Yep.
The year before that was either Alabama or Georgia. Same with the prior 3 years to that.
I thought it was Ohio State.
Oh, yeah. The year before Michigan was Ohio State. You're right. No, Ohio State was last year, then Michigan. And then before them was a couple of SEC schools. So, yes. I forgot. I'm sorry. Michigan and Ohio State did win the last two.
Yeah.
But, yeah. Yes, 24 is too much. But as you said, it's a money factor. But my thing is, at what point does money make this unwatchable? Because here's what happens. The national championship is coming up this Monday. This coming Monday is the title game between Miami and Indiana, right?
Mm-hmm.
Understand what that's coming after. The divisional round of the playoffs in the NFL. It'd be one thing for it to be the first or second Monday of the year. Now we're pushing it to the third Monday. You expand again, you're pushing to the end of January, still on a Monday. Or maybe they want that off week between the conference championships in the NFL and the Super Bowl, and they want to take that Sunday or that entire weekend for that. Maybe, but you're going to keep pushing the season back because of extra playoff games.
Perhaps.
Technically, they could play. They don't have to play those playoff games on a Saturday
or
a Friday.
Mm-hmm.
So they've done it in the past where there's a playoff game and it's not
since they've done since they've gone to the playoff or streamlined actual championship game, since they've done a championship game, because remember, this started out as the 2 best teams in the country, right? And it was always something of, well, the 3rd ranked team in the country feels some type of way because they think they deserve a shot if they had a 1-loss record comparable to the top 2 teams' 1-loss record, or in the rare case, you had 3 teams that were undefeated, right? And that prompted the expansion to 4. But 4, if all conference champions played out the way they were supposed to, you would get the 4 best conference champions vying for a title. Unfortunately, you will have teams that will crap the bed at the end.
Duke.
Hey, Joy. We're talking about college football right now. So
I just changed my title to comic relief. I saw that my girl wasn't going to be able to make it. I was like, Joy to the rescue.
So it is a mess. It basically right now it's a clusterfuck because again, 2nd year of 12 teams, and yeah, you're happy for the teams that got in, but teams like Notre Dame get screwed over. Notre Dame only had 1 loss this year and did not make the playoff.
Oh, wham, Notre Dame. They don't even want to be
Notre Dame deserved to get in, but when you put in teams like Tulane and who was the other one that got blown out?
JMU.
Oregon. What's that?
JMU.
James Madison, yes.
But they earned their spot.
Notre Dame
yes and no.
It's busy soaking and bouncing up there, so they,
Yes and no to that, Candaysee. Yes, they earned their spot by winning their conference championship and being the best of that group of 5 conferences that second tier under the Big 4. But you can't honestly say those teams deserve to be there after the performances they put on, because both of them got blown out by an average of almost 30 points. Remember, Ole Miss beat Tulane in the regular season.
Those top teams that had their bye week and came and got blown out too.
They did.
So I'm just saying, it's to everybody. They earned their spot. And I mean, and I'm not saying that Notre Dame, they didn't play their booties off. But at the end of the day, if they're going to want to make sure that the Big 4 conference is everybody from the Big 4 is at least represented, well, Notre Dame, you decided you didn't want to be a part of a conference in football. So you missed it. You missed out.
Yeah, and that is always the big knock against Notre Dame, because their football team will not join a conference. Every single other sport Notre Dame has is an ACC member team, except for the football
why won't they
team.
join the conference? What is the rationale?
They can get into
to keep all their money.
They can get into the Final Four if they want to. They can get into the NCAA tournament.
I can tell you one way to force them into a conference. Tell them they'll never be selected for the playoff again until they join the conference.
Yeah, and they're going to push back and sue about that for some reason whatsoever. Understand
when every other school in the system is a part of a conference, what makes you so special? So go ahead, sue.
Well, understand that up until about 25 to 30 years ago, Penn State was also independent.
Okay, 25 to 30 years ago. James, stop it. We are talking about the now. You want to go all the way back to when we were 10 years old.
You have to evolve.
When I was 10 years old.
You talking about the 1900s, bro?
The 1900s? You want to go all the way back to the 1900s? Come on, sir. This is different now. Like, stop it.
There's no reason for them to not be part of a conference. Again, if you want to be considered for the playoff, join a conference.
And
well, you know what it is too, because they're protecting
money. Again, it's money because they don't want to have to share with 10 other member schools with the conference as far as revenue that's brought in. They want all their revenue.
Well, they got all their revenue, and
which I find funny
playoffs.
For a Catholic university.
Bro, the Catholic Church has always been about money. That's not new.
Exactly. I was gonna say they got their money and they made their choice because they could have went to a bowl and got even more money, but they decided not to do it because they were crying.
Yes, they did. They did decline every single bowl committee because they did not get into the playoff.
And I mean, but you know what? To each their own. They are more than welcome to do that.
Yeah,
they are.
They made their money.
Understand?
Tell them to pray on it.
Understand that Miami, who's playing for the national championship, did not win the ACC title. People tend to forget that.
No, they didn't.
Remember, there was a 5-way tie that Miami was in for second place. And
so they didn't lose.
And instead of putting Miami in there as the second place team for the ACC championship, their 5-way tiebreaker, I'm not even going to try to make sense of it. If you want to see the crazy kerfluffle, look it up, Google it. It is the dumbest thing I've ever read in my entire life.
What did they Rochambeau for it or something?
Well, it was
Rochambeau would have been easier.
They used the same rule that they would have used when the conference was split, but now the conference isn't split. It's just all the teams won through whatever. So then it made no sense to pull Duke, who was like 8-7, but then they ended up winning the championship.
And Duke wasn't ranked. That's the thing. There are 3 ranked teams in the ACC. The team Duke beat, Virginia Tech and Miami, were the only 3 teams ranked in the ACC. And because
Georgia Tech.
I'm sorry, Georgia Tech.
Georgia Tech was ranked. Stop it. There were like 5 teams in the ACC.
Apologies. My bad. Georgia Tech was.
Matt, you gonna let him be like that? You let me say that?
I said my bad.
I said my bad. You got that.
You weren't quick enough.
Again, as Mouse,
you weren't quick enough.
My role is backup.
So again, my bad. They could have chosen any one of the 3 ranked schools. Virginia Tech. No, I'm sorry, it was Georgia Tech, not Virginia Tech. Georgia Tech, Miami, and whoever Duke played. Was it Virginia?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Virginia. So Virginia played Duke. Duke won. And Virginia had the best record in the ACC.
It doesn't matter what your record is. You got to win in the right time.
That's right.
That is
they
true.
still didn't make it to the playoffs, though.
No, they didn't.
Happens in the Olympics, right? You can have great year and be setting all kind of state and national records and then trip in the Olympics, and you ain't going to get no medal because you had a good history.
True.
So now the ACC has gone back and said they're going to revamp their tiebreaker scenarios for future. Because they were pissed off their conference champion did not get picked for the playoff. And everybody was like, Duke ain't ranked.
Yeah, we weren't going to put Duke in there. Duke would have lost first round. I'll take Miami.
Oh, gosh. All right. Moving on from the CFP. Does anybody have anything to say about this league? Other than I forgot that they still do stuff over there.
So my Knicks are doing well. Trey Young isn't in Atlanta anymore. He can go. We don't like him anyway.
They finally took my advice and got rid of him. He should have been gone like 4 years ago.
Yep, he should have. We don't like him anyway. So I hope that we play him in whatever team he's with. No. And I still don't like him.
No, it's not that we don't like him, but I still contend.
I don't like him.
Well, that's fine. You are not going to win an NBA championship if Trey Young is the best player on your team. You're just not. And the Hawks never got that man any help. Personally, I'm still pissed that we traded Luka for him. To be quite honest, I still haven't gotten over that. But we were never going to win a championship with Trey Young. It just wasn't going to happen.
So if it makes you feel any better, you were never going to win a championship with Luka because he don't play no defense.
That's fair. That's fair. We know that now. It's just like the current rumor is that
No. Hold up. Backtrack. We don't know that now. We knew that the day he was drafted. Luka ain't never played defense a day in his life. You saw that in the Euro League he came out of. He don't never play defense.
Fair.
And he cries like a big old baby all the time.
And now you've got the rumors that we lost Joy. And now you've got the rumor that Anthony Davis may or may not be coming to the Hawks, which I don't know that would be.
That's so stupid.
Wait, before you finish that statement, is Anthony Davis even healthy right now?
Right, that's what I'm saying. He's not. He's out again.
He doesn't even know if he's healthy right now.
He's out again. He got hurt again. Right when they traded Trae Young and they were talking about they wanted to go get Anthony Davis, he got hurt in that game that night. And he's out for like, I don't know how many games. And I was like, why would you want this man who never plays because he's always hurt? That's what's wrong with the Hawks. The Hawks just be going and they just be going and getting, this is like the Knicks of old.
The biggest issue that the Hawks have is it goes all the way back to the year we drafted not Chris Paul. We had the opportunity to draft Chris Paul, and who do we get? And we got not Chris Paul. That
dude has a name, man. Stop playing, bro.
His name is not Chris Paul.
That dude has a name.
Right.
Mouse,
not Chris
be
Paul.
Nice.
I will never forgive the Hawks. There are two things I will never forgive the Hawks for. Number one, trading Dominique. Stupidest decision in the organization's history. Second stupidest decision, drafting not Chris Paul.
You know, I'm never ever going to be able to call his name because you have now. Chris Paul.
That is his name. If his birth certificate doesn't say it, it should. And yes, Bloodography, we had the opportunity to draft Chris Paul that year. Go back and Google the draft that year and look at everybody that was in that draft that we could have got, and we drafted not Chris Paul. Shit still pisses me off.
Oh. Said fail. And yes, Blur, to your earlier statement, yes, the Hawks did trade Luka for Trae Young on draft night.
Yeah.
With the Dallas Mavericks.
Because if you go look up their rookie NBA card, Luka's still has his Hawks jersey in it.
Oh, yeah, him holding the Hawks jersey. Yeah, taking photo.
Holding the Hawks jersey.
Well, if it makes you feel better, the team that Trae Young was traded to is currently 10-28 and no chance to win anything because why? The Wizards suck. The Wizards have always sucked, will never be good. The last time the Wizards was good was right before Gilbert Arenas brought guns into the locker room.
What year was that?
Gilbert Arenas bringing guns into the locker room. That was 2012.
It was not the 1900s.
2010, 2012.
I was wondering if it was the 1900s.
No,
it wasn't the 1900s.
It was not the 1900s. But it was a solid squad. It's just that him and Jarvis Crittenden decided they want to have a war of words and mention guns, and I take you out in a gun gesture. And Gilbert was like, "All right, here's a gun, shoot me."
You gave us that soliloquy. I mean, the monologue that time, so we don't have to revisit.
I mean, there's a documentary on Amazon Prime. You can watch it.
No, Joy, I was going to say, don't just. Let's not talk about that because James gave us a whole 27 minutes and 32 second monologue about the whole thing. We didn't have to watch it because we got it.
To me, the thing that's real funny is because apparently, like everybody else in the world, Gilbert Arenas has a podcast.
Mm-hmm.
And every now and again in my feed, a clip. Because, I follow a lot of NBA and basketball stuff. So a clip from his podcast will show up in my feed. And one day they were talking about just that same event on the podcast. And I'll say this, to his credit, as a mature adult at this point, he has admitted how stupid of a decision that was for him to make. He should have.
It's growth.
Yeah.
I mean,
we know blurred.
We know blurredography.
Oh my God.
We're waiting. We're waiting for our invites.
No. All right. Everybody's homework.
I actually have homework. I read.
And they said we're gonna hold up on your homework because your homework ties into our last discussion topic of the evening, which is the NFL. So we're gonna hold off on your homework.
Wait, my homework is about the TGL.
Oh, I'm sorry. I thought your homework was about the interview and Jamel Hill.
What we tell you about making assumptions?
Oh, well, yeah. Well, that wasn't my homework. I just thought I thought we were gonna talk about it.
Oh,
I didn't think about the fact. I forgot that it was like it is a non-NFL. Because I'd already prepared the TGL before she did.
My apologies. My apologies.
But we could talk about both. I mean, we can talk about that.
We are going to talk about both. But the floor is yours to talk about the TGL.
Okay, so this is year 2.
Mm-hmm.
Is it year 2? Okay, so it's year 2 of me. It's year 2 for me. I don't know when it actually started. But I do want to say that if all of our listeners have not watched the TGL, they really should, especially if you want a over interactive golf moment. Like it's not your average.
It's like
they literally, yeah. Like I feel like it's like when we put Joy in the show with us, right? Joy's going to come and she's going to bring that extra, right? And so TGL, when you have those 4 players and they like are explaining like why they're doing the stuff and they have all this camaraderie, but then all this competition, like you don't see that on these other PGA tours because they're all like stoic and they have to be a certain way. But this is like super amazing, especially if you love tech and all of that stuff. So like, I'm excited that it's back. I think that you guys should watch it. I'm telling you, I think it's amazing. But I think it comes on like on Monday or something or somewhere.
On regular TV?
It comes on ESPN.
ESPN.
Oh, well.
Mm-hmm.
And I did watch a few matches the first year it was on. It is entertaining. Unfortunately, every night I turned in to watch Tiger, he wasn't playing.
Oh, you got to look at the schedule. But Atlanta won, and they were real.
No. I was specifically only turning in those handful of nights because Tiger's team was in action.
But he didn't play.
And that's the only reason I was looking for it, because the first thing I did was look up the rosters of the teams. I was like, oh, that's Tiger's team. When I see that team is playing next, I'll watch. And 3 times I tried to watch that team, Tiger wasn't playing.
And I don't even have so there's a New York team, there's an Atlanta team, right? Mm-hmm. So I normally err in the way of New York, but I don't even have like a team. I just I like to see the players play because I'm so used to I like to see Rory and see what he's about to do and Tiger and what he's about to do. And the little, what's his name? Channing something or Chimps, whatever his name is. He's real interesting to watch too. So it's just really, really interesting to just hear them talk about like the golf.
And that's what I like about it, honestly, is to watch them actually engage with each other. Because when you watch a regular golf tournament, they don't interact with each other at all until it comes down to like if 2 members of the same final grouping are within a couple of strokes of each other, then they'll interact. But outside of that, you don't get any type of banter whatsoever between them on a regular PGA Tour event. In this,
they don't talk no trash.
Right. They're going back and forth with each other like 2 people would on a blacktop playing one-on-one.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
or when I go play golf with my friends, we talk a lot because we're not really good. So we just
or if you were to go to Top Shot and just talk junk with the people you went with. Oh, you shanked out, went to the wide side, and you can't even get the ball off the tee.
Hey, you're not going to talk about Top Golf. It's my spot.
Top Golf is fun.
And they got a whole, did you know they have a whole Sonic the Hedgehog? Oh, that's my favorite one. Mm-hmm.
What's this? I don't know about this. What is it?
Oh, okay. So you can like pick different courses or whatever at Top Golf. And so they have a Sonic the Hedgehog one. It's just super cool. I think just because I grew up in that era of them, but like when you hit it, of course, it has all the tech stuff in it. You're the tech person. And so then the ball does all these funky things on the screen. Oh, okay. Like not like what you did, like you hit it and you just hit it. But on the screen, it's like, oh, you did this, this, and this. And
oh, cool.
You got all the rings and all the stuff. Yeah, it's real.
Okay, cool.
They should do that on TGL. You can tell I'm easily entertained.
Yes,
Yeah.
and that's good.
That's
Mouse, what you got?
So my homework kind of ties into the NFL. So this week the Falcons hired Matt Ryan as president of football operations.
Mm-hmm.
The thing that I have been paying more attention to over the last year or so when it comes to sports commentating is the difference in people who have played the sport and are commentators, people who have never played the sport and are commentators, and people who have played the sport at the highest possible level, being, the pro for whatever their respective sport is. The thing that I have been noticing is that by and large, those that have played at the highest level have better insight into certain things. Those who have played but not at the highest level have what I think is a little bit more passion in their analysis and commentating of the game. Okay. Then you've got those in the middle who are still great at what they do, but they've never played. So I've noticed how their perspective is always just ever so off from what actually happens on the field. And I'm noticing this across all the sports. Like recently I saw a clip of what's Pooh's real name? Richard Jefferson and Perkins. What's Perkins' first name?
The one on ESPN?
Is it Sam Perkins?
Oh, Sam Perkins.
Well, real big dude, dark skin,
beard.
Yeah.
Kendrick Perkins.
Okay, thank you. Kendrick Perkins, not Sam Perkins. And they were talking about the current state of youth sports, specifically youth basketball, because Richard Jefferson is I don't know what his position is with USA Basketball, but he does something for USA Basketball, and then you've got Kendrick Perkins, who is just some big dude who can block or should be able to block. And the incident that they were talking about was how one team in the second half was up by 30-something points.
Mm-hmm.
And Kendrick was of the mindset that you're up by 30, you need to keep your foot on their neck and just dominate and assassinate the rest of this team, versus Richard, who his perspective was, if you're up by that much, now it's time to do some other things. It was, the difference in whether or not you do full court press versus half court press, trap versus man-to-man versus zone. He was of the perspective, if you're up that much, now it's time to learn some other aspects of playing defense. And Kendrick was saying that Richard is the reason that the league is soft. And to me, you've got these two guys who, one was at the top of his game when he played, and the other one was just there because he was big.
Oh, I wouldn't say Kendrick was just there because he was big. He was a solid defender and rebounder, but they weren't counting on him for points.
Right. So yeah, so that's just one of the things to me is the amount of passion that people have for their respective job based on what their background in that area is. To me, is just really, really interesting.
Okay. Cool.
And the fact that we got Matt Ryan back in the Falcons organization. Yeah.
Okay. All right. Joy, since you're joining us, anything you want to bring up before we delve into the abyss of football and never return?
Yeah.
I can't wait.
I'll give you one guess what I want to bring up.
The Savannah Bananas?
No.
Legos.
Okay. No. What? Marble Racing League?
Eclectic.
Oh, goodness. Oh, wow.
Yeah, that was hilarious.
Did an interview with Lady London. And
who is Lady London? I don't know who this person is.
So it's a audio podcast, but they also record it, kind of like Charlamagne and the God and them do. I don't remember the name of the podcast because I don't follow it either, and I only know her name because I kept seeing Lady London set it out.
Oh, okay.
And hats off to Lady London because she handled that like a freaking pro. It was giving. You remember when Gail interviewed R. Kelly and she was like, Robert. Mm-hmm. So the entire time, and the face that Lady London was making is the face that I have made when I've been on a date with a guy that I never want to see again.
Oh my God. Girl.
It's this face. She asked him, when's your birthday? He said, every day is my birthday. So what I need you to do, Candaysee, when I say, when's your birthday? You say, every day is your birthday. So I can show you the face she made. When's your birthday?
Every day is my birthday.
Okay. Fabulous. And so she knew what she was dealing with. Now, how does eclectic come into this? So she asked him if he could describe his style, since he wanted to be all, fashion nova. That's the most I could give him, fashion bug, not fashionista, but fashion bug, fashion nova, right? He wanted to be all stylish with it. She's like, so how would you describe yourself? And he said, eclectic. She said, you mean eclectic? He's like, no, eclectic. And she's like, the word is eclectic, which is clearly what he meant. But he's like, no, eclectic. And so then he said, you know what the N stands for? And she said, Gadri. Yes. And she was right. And he said, yes, that is what the N stands for, exactly what you thought it stood for. Then she told him to spell it. Listen to me closely. He spelled it. I had to look it up because it don't. Eclectic was spelled Nclecta.
So not even eclectic, but eclecta.
Eclecta.
Girl, I was dying when I saw that. I said, come on, Cam.
I used to think that we was riding Cam too hard for making fun of him for looking like a church lady and all that kind of stuff. But bruh, what are you doing? And then when he asked her something else, and she was like, fabulous. Okay, I see. Yeah, no, that's great. And he's like, you don't understand. I'm crushing this interview right now. Bruh, you are not. And so when they were talking about eclecta or eclectic, he was like, yeah, the N stands for this. And she's like, clearly. Yeah, I understood that because I'm looking at you. And he starts, stop the spelling. He starts saying that, because the other way, that other word don't have Thanksgiving like I have Thanksgiving, and he's trying to imply that there's some cultural difference in a word that he just made up because he didn't want to admit that he didn't know the real word. Right. And so he's like, they ain't got no seasoning over there. I got seasoning, but I commented under the post that I saw him using, because he was talking about being colonized and colonizer this and that and blah, blah, blah. Him using colonizer language to excuse his own lack of understanding of said colonizer language that he speaks, and using the most colonized holiday of them all as an analogy is the dumbest shit I ever heard in my life. That boy's stupid. Because it's one thing to be ignorant. And I really wish people would stop overusing the word ignorant. If you don't know something, you're unaware of it. You haven't learned it. You have a chance to rectify the situation. He's stupid. Stupid is as stupid does, right? When I say eclectic, and she said, you mean eclectic, a real man with no insecurities would have been like, is that how you say that? Yo, I've been saying that wrong for like 5 years. Thank you. Eclectic. Thank you, girl. You got me straight. That would have been what a mature, emotionally intelligent man would have done. What we got is what the internet is still riding out on. Black folks are having a whole ball with this. We've been all over the internet with eclectic, whatever, how you want to say it.
Can I ask a silly question, Joy, just for shits and giggles, but to be a tad bit serious, but mostly funny?
Yeah.
What if he was trying to make fetch happen?
Fetch?
What if he was trying to make fetch happen?
What is fetch?
What was that? Was that Mean Girls?
Oh yeah, when they were trying to get a new word to catch on.
Yeah. What if
no.
that's...
I'm not giving him that because he said eclectic with his whole chest because he just knew that was the word. And you know what? I'm not even going to give him, like some people when they mean specific, they say Pacific, and it is a specific thing around different mother tongues and like the language we speak. And we get it honest from our African roots and never being taught English, having to learn it on our own. That's a whole different thing, right? Fathom instead of phantom instead of fathom. Those little idiosyncrasies, we get that. And usually people understand that they're wrong when they say it and they try to correct it. This dude again said with his whole chest, eclectic. And then when she said, you mean eclectic? No. Because that Thanksgiving don't taste like my Thanksgiving. What are you even saying? And then to follow it up with, I'm crushing this interview right now. You're being crushed by the weight of your own stupidity. That's what's crushing you. Because you don't want to do better. And you refuse to admit that you made a mistake. It would be so easy.
See, now when I watch this episode of the podcast, I'm going to be waiting for this section because I haven't watched this episode yet. But now I'm going to be so looking forward to getting to this point in the show because I genuinely do enjoy his show. Everything you're saying, yeah, I have to co-sign for on every point you're making, but still, I genuinely do enjoy his show. So this is going to be even that much funnier when I get to this section of the show.
Yeah, it'll be fun.
Oh God!
But at the end of the day, though, this is the thing that me and a couple of people were talking about is that if he had said, let's say he was on First Take, they have him, and he had said eclectic, and they corrected him. I don't think he would. I don't think that he would have. I think he would have acted the way that you said originally, like, "Oh, I said that. I've been saying it wrong this whole time." But because a woman said to him, "Do you mean eclectic?" Okay. He decided.
I'm not going to let the woman show me up. How dare a woman correct me? Yeah.
Because those guys would have been clowning him on ESPN, First Take, Get Up, whatever. They would have been looking. Yeah. Then people would have been looking at him like.
Yeah, they would have.
They also, and like her owning of him was so subtle and quiet.
Oh yeah.
Like he didn't know he was getting straight run up like the whole time. He had no idea that he was an embarrassment to himself because the Black race didn't claim it. So you can't embarrass a race that you've been cast out of, right? So yeah, we just look at him like I'll you know what? I'll trade Chris Evans for him any day.
Ooh. Well, I'm gonna tell you, his brother is really awesome. So maybe he'll make up for his awesome.
Maybe. There's one in every family. Clearly Cam is in it.
Oh. Candaysee, what does Cam's brother do? What's his area?
He actually is the one who runs the lounge.
Wait, Peggy,
and not only that, they're into, huh?
Peggy from the show was his brother?
No, CJ.
Oh, okay. Oh, I didn't. Okay.
So they do. He does those, like he does businesses and stuff like that. Him and his wife in real estate. Yeah, really nice people.
What school did Cam go to?
Auburn. Well, he went.
Define go to. I would say define go to because
did he ever go to an HBCU?
No.
That also comes through in this interview because at one point he's asking her for particular things. Would you rather it be from an HBCU or from a PWI? And I think she went to Howard. And so she was HBCU all day long. Every now and then she would say PWI. Like he asked her a question, HBCU or PWI for the football game. And she goes, well, do you mean the game or like the environment? And he was like, it's a yes or no question. She goes, I'm asking for clarification. Are you talking about the actual football game or like the environment of just going to the game? It's different at HBCU. And he was like, it's a yes or no question. And she said, well, I asked you, what is your birthday? And you said every day is your birthday. So I don't understand why you're trying to hold the rules. Right? And he's getting annoyed with her because she's not playing his little stupid game. And then she says, if it's for the sportsmanship of it, then probably a PWI, but any other reason, HBCU. And he was like, homecoming, HBCU. Something else, HBCU. Then he says something like loyalty or something stupid like that. And she goes, what do you mean? He's like, I asked you a question. It's just loyal. And I'm asking you to explain your question. He couldn't because he's just throwing out stuff. He's just, like he's just nothing, right? And but then she was being rational with her answers, which is something he seemed incapable of doing. I have zero respect for Cam. Zero.
Seems like
I'm not even gonna say like negative, because negative implies that there's an entity there that could at one point be reversed. Zero is zero.
Seems like he was basically just trying to pop off and just make fun of her.
And he failed at that.
He sure did.
He brought a disposable plastic knife to a cannon fight.
Yeah.
He was way outmatched.
I'll say this about his show. He does a much better job when it's just him and his boy Piggy versus him doing interviews, because he is not a good interviewer. But when it's
he's not, because he has a sit down with Jamel Hill. I watched about 1 minute of and made my head hurt, and I felt sorry for Jamel Hill. Because I understand what she's there for, but he's clowning right now, and he's not taking this entire thing seriously.
I think he clowns all the women that come on the show, and I think a part of that is, again, it's petite penile energy. You know what I'm saying? Like, you just smile D up in this piece. The insecurity, the inability to admit that you're wrong, the inability to take the women sitting across from you seriously repeatedly, just says, you're not sure of yourself.
And this is not remember the first time he did this publicly while he was still playing with the Carolina Panthers after a game, and result irrelevant. The first question from the reporting pool in the post-game press conference was from a woman who was asking him a legitimate question about the intricacies of a particular play as far as what he saw. Like, was it zone or man that tripped you up on this particular play that you either fumbled or throw an interception on? And his response was, wow, that's a real technical question from a female. I never expected a female to come up with that type of question.
See, the fact that you call her females, that's all you need to know.
And that is more or less a direct quote, because that's what he said, basically.
Because I know you don't use females, so I knew you would quote.
Story of my life when it comes to sports. Men are always like that. Oh my gosh, that is a great question to ask for a girl.
One of my friends she was enough of maybe, I don't know anymore, but she was enough of a Cincinnati Bengals fan to have a Bengals fan blog that she wrote during football season. We're at a party. These guys are talking about how women don't know sports and whatever. I was like, oh, you wrong. That chick right there writes a blog about the Bengals. And they're like, oh, they're all excited until they assumed that it was something very surface. She started digging into stats and players and trades and everything. Then they got irritated. Next thing you know, they quizzing her on her. And you got to understand about my friend V. V is OCD to a clinical level. What you not going to do is quiz her on something and she get less than 100%. Then they didn't like her no more.
But that always happens.
Because she made them look dumb by their own ignorance.
Because you end up knowing, I was going to say, you end up knowing way more. And they realize they're the surface fans.
I remember
they're not the ones.
Matter of fact, it was me and Valencia again. We were down in Miami for something. And this dude was hitting on her. And we're telling him, dude, you're failing. Just leave. You should just leave right now. And so everything he said was stupid. And then he goes, you know what? I just wanted to sit here and have intellectual conversation with y'all. I wanted to talk about black body radiation. Did you? Okay. So you're talking to
hold my beer.
Yeah. hold my mimosa, because I'm about to light you up. And then I started talking black body radiation. I started talking string theory. I started talking chaos theory. And I saw him eventually. He was like, "Yeah, you know what? I can see that y'all just don't want to be friendly. Y'all have a good day." No, we didn't want to be friendly. We told you that when you sat down, that we were not here for you. But anyway, I digress. In summary, eclectic is not a word.
In summary,
it's not. It is so not a Jesus H. Just
right. Jesus on a Jenkins stick.
So somewhat sticking in kind of in this same arena. Joy, what do you think about Shannon as an interviewer?
Shannon Sharp?
Yeah.
He's which way did he go? Which way did he go? That's how I feel.
Shannon is, I think he has interviewing skills. I think that he can hold a conversation with the person that he's talking to. Back in the day, before he went into, he's not a coon, he's a buffoon. And there's a very specific difference. I wouldn't call him, I'm not ashamed of Shannon Sharp, but I do shake my head at Shannon Sharp. You see what I'm saying?
That's fair.
Yeah.
That's
yeah.
fair.
I've watched his show, and back when he was on there with Skip, that was one of my favorite things to do, was see him cut up, because it was contained within the walls of ESPN.
Yeah.
You know.
Fox
and
Sports.
he can be funny. And then now that he's got his little, what do they call, the name of his show?
Club Shay Shay.
Club Shay Shay.
Okay.
Yeah, I ain't mad at it. I ain't trying to cancel him. People watch up. Hey, it's great. I got no problem with him. I don't think he is a staggering intellect, but I also, he's a regular dude.
Okay.
He's an uncle.
Yeah. No. I only ask because almost every former athlete has a podcast now.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of them stick their foot in their mouth when they do it.
And a lot of them shouldn't have podcasts.
Mm-hmm. But they have followings.
They have
so
followings.
That's why they do
coming
it.
From their football career.
Yeah.
What was it? Uncomfortable Conversations with a Black Man? Was that
we don't talk about Acho.
Yeah.
Acho's a coon.
Yes.
Acho is a coon. Him and his brother.
Yes. And a misogynist and a sellout and all the things that we traded him once and for all.
So yeah.
We didn't even trade him for anything. We traded him for some buttons and some string.
Oh yeah, Nightcap with 85 is interesting. I've only watched a couple of episodes of that blurredography.
Mm-hmm.
I try not to watch that too much, so the one episode of that I watched, I forgot what they were talking about, but when Ocho Cinco is the rational one, there's a problem.
Right. But at least Nightcaps with 85, you know what you're gonna get out of that particular show.
So I'm trying to remember. I can't remember exactly what happened, because I know it was during the season. It wasn't this year. It was last year when, but something happened. It was like a big kerfuffle during the season where everybody was talking about it, something in the middle of the season. And Shannon was just like, his take was just way off base. And Chad was like, yo, Unc, you gotta chill. Like that ain't right. That's wrong. Like, you can't have that viewpoint. You gotta look at the context of da 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 da. And I'm like, Chad's the one making sense? The hell?
That's how you know you're wrong.
I was like, oh shit, I'm scared now. I can't watch any more of this. Chad is making sense, and I agree with him, because Chad had the right mindset and approach for whatever the situation was last season. I'm just like, oh stop. Because again, like you said, you watch a lot of sports stuff on YouTube, the algorithm just spits things out there like, hey, here's something you might be interested in. I was like, let me check this clip out, because this thing is all up in the cycle for football this week. Oh snap, Chad is making more sense than Shay Shay. Let's not subscribe to this channel.
Block.
Yeah, no more of these vids.
Unsubscribe and hide.
All right, now to go down Joey's favorite abyss. NFL. Let's get the actual playing of the games out the way first. Wild card weekend, 6 games, 4 road teams won. The only home teams that won were the Bears, that eked out a close one against the Packers, and the Patriots, who beat the snot physically. The score does not indicate it, but if you watch that game, the Saints pretty much killed Justin Herbert and the Chargers on Sunday night.
Did he cry?
I don't know, but if my quarterback had taken that beating, I would have been upset with my offensive line.
He cried in the car on the way home.
He cried in the car. He cried in the little golf van on the way back to the locker room.
So birdography again. Yes, my Eagles did lose at home, and once again, this show is brought to you by the letters S, T, F, and U. Where's your team right now?
Ooh! Oh, why are you so vicious?
Because my mindset is you should not be talking trash to another fan about their team if your team did not compete this weekend. You have nothing to say. Your team ain't make it. You have no reason to chime in and talk about anybody who lost this weekend. I
believe what you wanted to say is how you gonna hate from outside the club.
That part. You ain't got no reason to talk. Your team ain't make it. Shut up. Enjoy it. Start talking about the draft in the offseason and who y'all going to sign, but don't be talking ish about nobody in the playoffs right now, what they could and couldn't do because your team couldn't get there.
Damn it. See.
Hey. We don't talk with the people.
We don't heckle the only person.
We don't talk with the people. We don't got time for you to get Philadelphia mad and start talking with the people. Stop that now. Let's focus.
Look,
we only have so much time to do the things.
New year, worse me, because if you go low, we going to hell.
Okay, moving on.
So let's talk about your team.
Let's talk about my team. What, my team?
So let's talk about that game. Let's just get it over with.
Look,
the good news is that the offensive coordinator was finally fired. It took them long enough because my thing was, why is this a debate? The dummy needed to go. He shouldn't have been hired. This is Nick Sirianni's second time promoting from within, and it blew up in his face for the second time. It's funny how we go to the Super Bowl, we lose offensive coordinators to head coaches of other teams. Shane Steichen with the Colts, Kellen Moore with the Saints. But every time Nick Sirianni wants to do a replacement and ownership is like, all right, cool, and he wants to promote his buddy from within, that ain't nobody checking for. And the offense looks like ass. So too talented of an offense, especially this year. You're talking about easily one of the top 5 wide receiving cores in the league, the best O-line in the league that couldn't block to save their lives, one of the best running backs in the league, and a top 10 quarterback. And this is what the offense does. It's inexcusable. So, yeah, I'm glad, and I know I shouldn't revel in someone's dismissal, but I'm glad the OC got the axe. Because it needed to happen. That you're talking about Pro Bowlers at literally every position on offense. And this offensive production was literally bottom third of the league, like 22 and below at every important category. That's not acceptable. And the head coach gets some blame and the players get some blame. But when the offensive coordinator, the person called, I got a problem where the 4 biggest names as far as former quarterbacks analyzing plays on networks, Troy Aikman, Dan Orlovsky, Kurt Warner, and Tom Brady, are critiquing Eagles games, the offense specifically, and saying they're running the same 5 plays out of 72 different formations and it's not working. That's an issue because none of them work for the same network. The 4 of them work for 4 different networks and they're all saying the exact same thing.
You know you're in bad shape when Orlovsky is getting it right about your team.
No. Orlovsky, as bad as he was as a professional quarterback, he knows his ish as far as how an offense should be run and what schemes and personnel packages are designed to do versus certain coverages. He's got that down pat, right? Okay. So you can clown his playing career, yeah, but you can't knock his know-how as far as breaking down an offensive play from start to finish is what the quarterbacks read should be and shouldn't be. So when he comes in on Get Up every week when the Eagles win or lose and says this is a vanilla high school offense because here's the route combination, stick, slant, stick, slant. And these are all the routes, every single formation. He's like, here's formation A, here's formation B, here's formation C. But these are the same routes every single time. There's no nuance. And if he's pointing that out,
see, and based on his career, I never would have thought he'd have been that good.
Again, there's a difference between having it here, but physically not being able to do it. And a lot of those, this is why a lot of backup quarterbacks who are either journeymen or backup quarterbacks get offensive coordinator positions that become head coaches. Look at Doug Peterson, was a backup quarterback in the league. Frank Reich was a backup quarterback in the league. These are former head coaches. Harbaugh of the Chargers was a starter and then quickly became a backup. He's now a head coach. Jason Garrett, who works for NBC Sports, who was the head coach of the Dallas Cowboys at one point, backup quarterback to Troy Aikman. So again, don't knock dudes who are backup quarterbacks. They know a lot more than you think. They're only backups because physically they can't do it on the field the way the starter can.
I'm not knocking backups in general. I'm knocking Orlovsky specifically.
Well, we knocked Orlovsky specifically because of that safety.
Right. Exactly.
Again, up here, yes. Physically, no.
Okay.
But he is, I give him credit because like the first time I saw that he was working for ESPN, I was like, how is he? And then I actually listened to him break down an offense as far as its failings, as far as what it can and can't do. And yeah, I was blown away because I'm like, okay, he knows his ish. He knows exactly what he's talking about.
Okay.
So that's where the squad is. Like I said, I don't know what free agents we're going to retain or sign or bring back or anything else this offseason. Don't ask. I'm not there yet. I'm waiting for the league year to be over. Is what it is. One of the teams that won this weekend, Candaysee's Buffalo Bills, beat the Jacksonville Jaguars, which was a very entertaining game. So
it was stressful. So
I mean, stressful for you, entertaining for me, but
it was stressful. So I date a Bears fan. So we were stressed the night before.
Mm-hmm.
And then, well, actually, I'm going to tell you, I was more stressed out than he was. I guess he was just kind of like, yo, I'm glad we're here. I'm going to let the guys do what they do. But I kept sitting there like, why are they doing this? Why is this happening? And then, we know what happened at the end of that game. And it was crazy.
Mm-hmm.
But then coming in on Sunday and me having to like, and then everybody is hurt. Josh got hurt again. Then we find out, oh boy, who wore number 14, Shavers. He played the whole second half with a torn ACL. Like, who does that? That's hard. That's hard. But my thing is, are we gonna make it in Denver? Because everybody's hurt.
And Josh is beat up because he took some shots against Jacksonville.
Man, but I'm gonna tell you, Jacksonville, I don't think I really watched much of them I watched them like in the beginning of the year, but I was like, and then that's why I was a little surprised at the end of the year when I was like, wait a second, they're competing for the top of their division. What in the world? I didn't even realize, so I didn't even get to see them play. So as I saw them play against the Bills, they have a really solid defense. Like those guys are quick. They are so fast. And I was just like, if you stop us on the run, that's something. James Cook was averaging like 2 yards a carry, and he normally averages about 8. So, and Josh didn't rush that much. I think he only had like 57 yards or something like that.
It's when he rushed, though.
Yeah. Now, I mean, he's Josh, but it's always when it counts. You'd be like, what?
Except for that last one, the offensive lineman carried him 9 yards to the 1 yard line.
I didn't think that was going to stick. I was like, you can't do that. I was like, oh Lord, we got to do such and such.
You can't
and
do
then I was
that.
like, they didn't call it. Okay,
right.
We'll take it. But I am extra excited because I'm tired of people saying, I was really tired of the whole, are they going to win a game on the road? Are they going to do a such and such? Like, yes, we know we don't have the best track record, but let us play the game and then talk about it. So I'm hoping, I don't know, Denver's going to be hard. So next month when we have our podcast, we'll see. We'll see if
well, next month's show is 3 days after the Super Bowl. So
I know.
We will have.
I hope Joy is on, because Joy's going to have, like, she's going to do the whole critique of Bad Bunny, and she's going to give us good stuff.
Please understand that my birthday is February 7th, and I will absolutely turn up. I might not watch the game, but I will find somewhere to watch the halftime show, and I will come back in full DEI mode. Just go ahead and know that I will be on that show.
I'm so excited and ready for that.
Thank you.
Ready.
Saturday's division, this coming weekend's divisional round games, if you don't already know, Saturday's games are Bills at Broncos at 4:30, Niners at Seahawks at 8 o'clock. Sunday is Texans at Patriots at 3, and then Rams at Bears at 6:30.
Is that really fair, though?
What's that?
Is that really fair?
Yes. And that's the part of the talk this week after these wild card games was the Saturday games not being fair for Frisco and Buffalo, to which I say the 1 seeds always play on Saturday, divisional round.
Oh, they do?
They do. The 1 seeds almost always play on Saturday. It's rare to flip and have them on a Sunday, because you put them on Saturday so that if they win, they get the extra day rest, because both conference championships are the following Sunday.
But but they've already been rested.
So they earned the 1 seed. They deserve all the rest that is afforded to them because they have the best records in their conference. That is why you want the 1 seed. So you can get literally every advantage allowed for you by being the 1 seed. So the whole narrative of Buffalo and Frisco got screwed for playing on Saturday, I have no sympathy for that. Sorry.
I just said fair. I didn't say screwed. I just said, is it fair? We're going to come out, we're going to play.
I expect y'all to. I'm actually kind of picking y'all to beat Denver.
Oh, gosh, don't. And the only reason, and I don't say that because I don't think they're going to win. I'm always nervous when everybody picks us, or like when the majority, because I'm like, oh, well, we need the haters, or not even the haters. We need
some sort of opposition.
That's what I need. Like, because whenever it's across the board, like whenever I'm watching like the pregame show and everybody picks the Bills, I'm like, no, somebody pick the other team.
Well, let me help you feel better. Last year during the Super Bowl preview, everybody picked the Chiefs, and we saw how that turned out.
Candaysee, I'm with you. I hate seeing everybody pick the Falcons to win. Granted, that hasn't happened in quite some time.
When was the last time that happened?
It has happened.
You know, though, your team. I just feel bad. Okay, anyway.
Furious, let's get to your team, because your team is one of 9, and before I get into the other 8 that fired their head coach, and also fired their general manager. They have currently interviewed or requested to interview the following.
Yep.
Aiden Durd, the Seahawks defensive coordinator, Ejiro Evero, the Panthers defensive coordinator, Jeff Hafley, the Packers defensive coordinator, Harbaugh, the former Ravens coach, Clint Kubiak, the Seahawks offensive coordinator, Mike McDaniel, the former Dolphins coach, Antonio Pierce, former Raiders coach, Kevin Stefanski, the former Browns coach, and Anthony Weaver, the Dolphins defensive coordinator. The only interview they've done for general manager is Ian Cunningham, the Bears assistant GM, and they've requested that, so they haven't done it yet. From all those names that I mentioned, I know there were a lot. There was like 8+ names that I mentioned.
Oh, there's only one that I want.
Harbaugh?
Yep.
Okay.
So I'll give you the ones I don't want, because I think they're stupid decisions. Anybody from Cleveland and Miami, just take them off the list right now. Why anybody from either of those two teams being considered for the just no.
I will answer the Cleveland one first for you real quick.
Okay.
Stefanski is out there because he's won Coach of the Year twice in Cleveland. So that's why he's being interviewed. Not to mention he's had, since they traded Baker Mayfield, which everyone agrees was a dumb decision, mostly not his fault, he has had a merry-go-round of quarterback because the QB they were supposed to have has only played a total of 7 or 8 games.
And that's the other thing that I take issue with. Now, we can all agree that Shedeur was not a first-round talent.
No, we can't.
Really?
You're not going to convince me he wasn't a first-round talent.
You think he should have gone in the first?
Yes.
Okay. Fine. But what we definitely agree on is he's definitely not a 5th-round talent.
Oh, absolutely not.
Absolutely not a 5th-round talent. When I look at his performance and the fact that Stefanski resisted starting him for as long as he did, to me, you've got to put the needs of the team first above everything else, especially if you're the head coach. And I just don't think that he did that.
Well, he definitely didn't help Shedeur play well this year when he did play. The glaring example of that is the game against Tennessee, in which they're down 14 points and Shedeur Sanders drives them down the field both times to score touchdowns. And both times you decide to go for 2, and both times you decide to pull them off the field for those 2-point conversions. All 4 of those decisions, going for 2 both times and taking them off the field both times, were the dumbest decisions ever. Because had you kicked the extra point on the first one, you could have kicked the extra point on the second one and gone into overtime. By the way, this game was in Cleveland, not Tennessee, where you have the advantage of being at home if the game goes into overtime. And your defense was balling because on those final 5-ish minutes of the game where they had the ball twice, they made Tennessee go 3 and out. And they beat the hell out of Cam Ward on those last 2 possessions that Tennessee had. So why they wouldn't rely on their defense in that, I have no idea, because I would have kicked the extra point, tied the game up, gone into OT with that defense.
Because as much as I hate to make this statement, those look like the same kind of mistakes that Raheem Morris was making. And to me, now granted, I look at Raheem from a defensive perspective. And when he was with the Falcons, the first time, I think he was a wide receiver coach, if I'm not mistaken. He's much better as a position coach and a defensive coordinator than he is a head coach. And it's just, like I said, the mistakes that he made and that Stefanski made, just, to me, it looks like we'll be getting Morris 2.0 is what it looks like to me. And I hate saying it that way, but I just don't see him being any better. And also, you know how I feel. You know, I feel like Raheem should have gotten year number 3, because we went on. Oh, something's in my eye. We went on a 4-game winning streak at the end of the season that included beating the Rams. You've got players on the team publicly buying into the system. I really do believe. Now, I'm not going to sit here and say year number 3 would have been a playoff year. I think it would have been much better because you could see progression. You could see them getting better. But yeah, all those coaching coaches they want to interview and whatnot, get rid of Miami and get rid of Cleveland. Everybody else I'm good with. But again, I want Harbaugh. That's who I want. And I really think since they've got Matt Ryan as the president of football operations, I think that's one of the reasons why they're not necessarily as focused yet on a general manager. Because once you get a solid head coach, I'll say it this way. Whether they were going GM first or head coach first, with Ryan as president of football operations, I really believe him and whichever position they hire will do a good job picking whoever the other person is going to be.
Usually you get the GM first and then you get the coach.
Absolutely. But in the current scenario, and I heard him, I caught a clip on the radio coming in, I think yesterday, where they were it was in the press announcement that Blank and them did, where there are certain rules that are keeping them from talking to certain GMs, which makes me think they're wanting to talk to GMs of teams that are still in the playoffs.
Yes. And
So
you can't at this point, you can't talk to him because the time to talk to him was between the end of the season and the wild card game. Yeah. And once the playoffs started, you can't talk to them unless they've already been eliminated.
Yeah.
But if they're still playing, so like if they're looking at one of the 8 teams playing this weekend, can't talk to them until they're either eliminated or their season ends.
Yeah.
So.
But didn't Harbaugh, didn't he say that he wanted like 20 million and he wanted 10 million for his staff and he wanted to be able to be a part of choosing the GM and have control of the roster?
Yes.
Give it to him.
Because I heard that and they were, and I forgot which radio show I was listening to. I think it was Clinton and Friends. Because I was driving to work and they were like, there's only like 2 teams that would be able to afford that. And they were like the Falcons. And I forgot who the other team was. And I was like, you know what though? The Falcons actually do not have a GM. So, and Arthur Blank got the money.
But one thing about that though, Candaysee, every team can afford that because none of those salaries count against the salary
cap. Right.
So everybody can afford that.
But not everybody has GM positions open.
That is
true.
And that's the thing. So like out of the 9 teams that need a coach,
right?
How many need a GM?
And the last thing I heard coming in tonight,
1, Atlanta.
Right. I thought there was another, but I wasn't. I was focused on when he said Atlanta. I started thinking about it and I was like, well,
Miami did fire the GM during the season, but they've already hired his replacement.
Gotcha.
So they don't have an opening right now.
So then he'll be involved in their head coach selection.
Wait, who? Wait.
Whoever it is that you just said that
for Miami. Yeah, Miami hired their GM from the Packers staff.
Okay. And the other thing that I heard this coming in tonight, apparently they were thinking that New York was going to. So currently Harbaugh is in New York interviewing with the Giants.
Yep. I don't need him to take that job.
Huh?
I don't need him to take that job. The Giants don't deserve nice things.
No. So here's the scuttlebutt, at least, and you know how I feel about Atlanta sports talk radio. Take it with a grain of salt.
Mm-hmm.
At first, they were saying that it's looking good for him in New York because the flight at the airport, his flight home, had been delayed, and they said, "Whoa, don't let the flight leave yet. We still got some more talking and whatnot to do." And then, not more than say 5 minutes later, they're like, "All right, he's left from the Giants facility and he's on his way to the airport."
Good.
So I'm not necessarily. I don't have faith right now that New York made him an offer he wants to take.
Fair. And that's fair because, again, wherever Harbaugh goes, because you coach in one place for basically almost 2 decades,
yep,
a new team is going to give you say-so as far as GM because you also want say-so in player acquisition.
Yep.
And while that's the GM's primary responsibility, a coach is always going to want some say-so. So if he wants overriding power of that, then that puts a hamper on the current GM, which again, all but the Falcons have filled at this point. Everybody else has a GM right now.
And when you look at his record, again, whatever demands that Candaysee just mentioned that he's making, personally, I think his record warrants it. Give it to him. Give that man whatever he wants to have him in a Falcons coaching position.
Which is why I know he's not going to sign with the Giants because the Giants' current GM, Joe Shane, is a freaking genius.
Oh, is that the one who gave you your favorite player?
I mean, you think Daniel Jones is more valuable than Saquon and you let him walk only to turn around the following season and cut Daniel Jones in the middle of the year. So,
big dummy.
let Joe Shane cook. So if that's a butting of heads, and I imagine that will be a butting of heads because people are like, oh yeah, he's up in New York and da-da-da. I'm like, and first I was like, wait, I don't want my fault. I have nothing to worry about.
Right. And
because the Jim McMahon, Joe Shane connection is not going to work as far as player acquisition because Joe Shane's track record over the last couple of years.
Yeah. And like you said, we've currently got no GM. We've got a new president of football operations he has said this position is evolving and we're not 100% certain of all the duties that it will entail. So to me, Atlanta, especially with the young squad that we've got now, yes, us still having a question mark at the QB spot is a problem. That is a very big problem.
Won't be if you let go of a particular person.
I'm just, dude, I have not said anything about keeping that bum. But again, I never wanted him. You know this. I never wanted him. But again,
I question anybody who's a fan of this team who actually did think it was a good idea.
This is why I kept saying, let me run the organization for 3 years. I can't do any worse. Might even come out a little bit better. I don't know. Just saying.
Mac for president.
So the other vacancies currently in the NFL, aside from Atlanta, the Titans and Giants fired their coaches during the season, week 6 and 10, respectively. The Falcons, as Farias mentioned, fired theirs literally hours after we left the game that Sunday.
Right?
Y'all look like you had a good time too.
It was so much fun.
It was a great time, but I was not expecting, because we're on the field post game. Like, I missed the first half of the Eagles game.
I want to know how you got on the field. How'd you get on the field?
It was part of the season ticket package that our friend has that he passed on to us.
Yeah.
Okay, good. Because I was like, this whole time, I went to the Bills game and y'all didn't even tell me to hook up. But okay.
Yeah, no, this was 100% not us. It was
not us, right?
Us. It was.
He had to, as a matter of fact, he had to text us to remind us. Oh, by the way, y'all get field access post game. Make sure you do such and such when you get to the stadium. So yeah.
Okay, I'm gonna give you that one because I literally was like, I know they not.
So yeah, I get home and Furious, like, literally I walk in the door and Furious is like, hey, do you see this? I'm like, see what? And I look as I'm trying to find the Eagles game on TV. He's, oh snap, damn, that was fast. And that's when Raheem got fired.
It probably wasn't even hours after the game. It probably happened within minutes.
Probably. The very next day after the season ended, Cleveland, Vegas, and Arizona fired their coaches. The day after that, Baltimore fired Jim Harbaugh, as we've already mentioned, because he's out there looking for a coaching position. Now, here's the funny thing about Harbaugh's firing. The speculation is that Harbaugh's firing prompted Miami's coach, Mike McDaniel, to get fired. Because, so follow this crazy logic, if you will, because this was the chatter on Get Up the day that Harbaugh was fired from the Baltimore Ravens. He was the 7th coach fired at that point, right? So there's 7 openings. One of the insiders on Get Up was like, currently, there are 7 teams interested in talking to Harbaugh about their head coaching spot. And you're thinking, wait a minute, there's 7 openings, and one of the teams is his former team, the Ravens. Those are the 7 openings. So how could 7 teams already want to interview? Like, oh, somebody who hasn't fired their coach yet is thinking about firing their coach. Who was that team? Because you're thinking like, wait, there's 7 openings. How could it be 7 teams? The math don't math. So naturally, the other 6 teams are interested in talking to him that fired their coaches. And one team that has a head coach already is like, yeah, we want to talk to Harbaugh about coaching us. And so speculation was rampant as far as who's that team that has a head coach that wants to interview Harbaugh. And 2 days later, Miami fires their coach. So the speculation is that Miami was that team that wanted to interview Harbaugh. So in a roundabout way, the speculation is that Baltimore's firing prompted Miami to fire their coach because they think they can get Harbaugh.
That's crazy. And you know what? The funny part is, before the playoffs started, all of the little shows had the, are these coaches in or out? Like, will they be fired or are they safe? And never,
No,
like, they didn't have 9 teams. They didn't have
no,
9
they did not
teams
have
at
9
all
teams.
that would be without a coach.
Well, 2 of the last 3 teams that are now without coaches, Baltimore and Pittsburgh, because yesterday Mike Tomlin announced he was stepping away from coaching for a while.
What the hell?
Oh, you didn't see that yesterday?
No, I did, and I just don't understand why. I mean, don't get me wrong, because he's been the coach for 20 years. Maybe he's
19,
tired.
but
Maybe
yeah.
he wants a break. But like, to me, because the Steelers have had 3 coaches over the last
3
6
coaches
years?
3 coaches in the history of the entire team.
Whoa.
Yep, it was that guy, the old guy, then
Chuck Knox,
Bill, and then
Chuck Knox,
thank you.
Bill Cowher, and Mike Tomlin. That's it. They have had no other coaches. Most franchises have had 3 coaches in the last 10 years. This franchise has had 3 coaches in the entirety of its existence.
That is a team who believes in give your coach room to work.
Well, they continued the doctrination of family.
Yeah.
Where other, over the years,
that is a family-run team, yes.
Right. These teams they don't care about that. They're just like, we want to win all the time. Win, 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 win. We don't care. Whereas they kept in, they know, like you said, they know that it takes time, or when you make a change, or you had Roethlisberger between Bill Cowher and Tomlin. So, but Roethlisberger had to retire at some point. You know what I'm saying? Like, he's not going to be there forever. And then I think that's their downfall, though, because they didn't know how to get a new quarterback after.
They did. Unfortunately, Roethlisberger held on 3 seasons too long. The last 3 seasons, Roethlisberger shouldn't have played.
Which is interesting, considering the fact that Tomlin has never had a losing season. So even those extra years Roethlisberger should have been gone, he still managed to get production out of that team.
Oh, yeah.
Of course, people want to point at the bad part is that he's lost his last 7 playoff games, and they've been down by 21 points in each of those 7 playoff games that he's lost.
Well, who cares about that stat? He's been down 21 points each. Boo.
Hold on.
So what?
But to which the counter is, and this is a very good counter, you could argue that those last 7 playoff losses of his, the teams he took into those games probably had no business making the playoffs to begin with, in that they overachieved. And that goes to coaching and the job that he's done, dragging a team that, by all analytics and analysis of people who think they know the sport inside and out, would look at Pittsburgh's roster for each of those 7 playoff losses and say, there's no way this team makes the playoffs. And he gets them there.
Yeah.
Right.
So, yeah, he gets a team that probably shouldn't be there into the playoffs, but yeah, it also proves that they had no business being in the playoffs. But the coaching job that he does throughout the season, you can't knock that.
Yep.
Because if you're dragging a bunch of guys who literally have no reason to be there to that point, says something.
Yep.
So those are currently the 9 openings. He is not expected, Tomlin that is not expected to coach next season, because again, he wants to step away from coaching.
And he'll still be under contract too.
He is still under contract for 2 more seasons, this season and 27, this upcoming season in 26 and next year in 27. So if a team does hire him for the 27 season, they owe Pittsburgh some compensation, much like Denver did the Saints when they hired Sean Payton.
Yeah.
Because he was still under contract. Because it's not a firing, he's stepping down. So it's not a termination of his contract.
Right.
But yeah, that's where we are, 9 vacancies. And it'll be interesting to see who gets interviewed, which minority candidates are actually taken seriously. In one of my chat groups, someone asked about Raheem Morris, and I'm like, if he's the only name going around getting interviews, is he the token interview to fulfill the Rooney Rule? which we know that damn near every team in the league makes a farce out of during the hiring process. Because of all the quote offensive names out there, none of them are people of color.
Yeah.
None of the current OCs that are with a team not in the playoffs, or a team that just got eliminated from the playoffs, or that they're waiting on that is still in the playoffs. None of the current offensive coordinators in the league are people of color. They're all white, all 32 of them.
Where's Bieniemy now?
Bieniemy is the running backs coach for the Chicago Bears.
Ah, okay.
And notice what I said there. Running backs coach, not their offensive coordinator.
Right.
So considering my team, and that was the first thing I looked up when the Eagles lost the first 2 games of the season to the Broncos and the Giants in that short week at the end of October. The first thing I looked up was, where's Eric Bieniemy? Because I haven't heard his name in a minute. I know that he went to the college level and came back to the NFL, and I couldn't remember which team he was on. And I saw that he was the running backs coach for the Chicago Bears. I'm like, I don't care how the season ends. This OC needs to go, and we need to hire him.
Yeah. I mean, hell, I'll take him in a Falcons position.
Because we know for whatever reason, he's not going to get a head coaching spot. And that I don't understand. I don't understand, because he was the hot name when he was the OC of the Chiefs.
Right.
And teams literally brought him in, it felt like, just to satisfy the Rooney Rule, so they didn't hire him. And I'm like, why don't you want this guy who has 2 Super Bowl rings?
Wasn't there some exposure about that, like an email or something got out basically saying somebody else had the job before the interviews were done?
That was Brian Flores when he was interviewing for the Giants. And Bill Belichick had texted him instead of Brian Daboll to say congratulations on getting the job before it was even announced.
Mm-hmm.
But Brian Flores, they said his name and stuff, but I was like, he's blackballed. I don't think he's ever going to get a coaching job.
Well, several teams want to interview him. So again, I'm like,
at least he didn't kneel.
Mm-hmm. I'm asking again, is this the token interview for the Rooney Rule? Because remember, he still has a pending his lawsuit has not been settled.
Nope.
Remember, he's suing the league because of violations against the Rooney Rule and teams skirting the process, basically bringing minority candidates in just to do the interview and not take it seriously.
Yeah.
Right.
Now, let me throw this out at you, James.
Mm-hmm.
In regards to the Rooney Rule, let's just use my Falcons for right now.
Mm-hmm.
Say the Falcons know with no uncertainty that they want Harbaugh.
Mm-hmm.
Do they still have to interview minority candidates, even though they clearly know who they want?
Yes. And I'm going to tell you why. The Pittsburgh Steelers thought they knew who they want after Bill Cowher, and they still interviewed Mike Tomlin, and he got the job.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. That's the whole purpose of full inclusion, is give everybody a chance, because you may be making a decision based on limited knowledge or limited scope. And you're like, you know what? The person is the best I've ever seen. You ain't seen everybody. And that's exactly what the Rooney Rule is for. Make sure you see.
Fair point.
So, and here's another part of the Tomlin side of getting hired in Pittsburgh. One of the teams that also interviewed him the year he was hired in Pittsburgh was Miami.
Ooh.
And Miami did not want to hire him, because I remember this coming out because a former executive for Miami actually came out and said this. Miami did not hire Mike Tomlin because the owner felt he was too hip hop.
Code word.
Might as well be urban.
Right.
It was because he was shimmying too much with his Kappa self.
They thought Mike Tomlin was too hip hop to be the head coach of the Miami Dolphins.
Well,
and look at what the Miami Dolphins have done in the time frame that Tomlin has been head coach of the Steelers.
They have.
But in Miami, though, too hip hop for Miami, where the U is, where the man yeah, they just okay.
Mm-hmm.
They had flashbacks of people in my, I don't know. Okay. Anyway.
Again, owners are idiots for the most part, that have zero connection with people who don't look like them.
Are there any owners who are former players?
No.
Okay.
Majority owners? No.
Okay. Well, no.
No.
I know a few are minority owners, but I wasn't sure about majority.
Mm-hmm. Now, there are minorities who are majority owners. The Bills' majority owner is, what's her name? It's a woman, and she is of Asian descent.
Yeah.
I'm blanking on her name. Cleveland's majority owner is...
The Bills and not the Knicks?
The Bills, yes. Look up the Bills' majority owner. It's a woman.
Oh, yeah, because when Vince Carter...
I'm blanking on her name right now, but it is definitely a woman.
It's
she's the only woman who's a majority owner of the NFL team.
It's Kim Pegula. It's P.
Kim Pegula, yes.
Pegula.
Well, and according to the quick Google search, it's Terry and Kim Pegula.
Yeah, okay. It's Kim Pegula.
But the thing about it is that they say that Terry is the one.
Okay.
I'm just saying.
Okay. I'm sorry, 2 now that are women, because I forgot Irsay passed away last year and his daughters are running the Colts.
But when you go to the Buffalo Bills website, owner and president is only listed as Kim Pegula.
Exactly.
There you go.
So
well, I'm on the website.
I don't know who Terry is or what Terry does, and he may just be there in name only.
That's her
husband.
Terry
I think
ain't
that's
got
her husband.
Okay.
I think that's her husband.
So remember that wrestler that we always refer to as Mr. Jennifer Hudson? Same thing.
And that's his second wife.
Same thing. So Kim is in charge.
Oh, she's in charge because Terry.
I'm waiting.
Did you freeze, Candaysee?
I'm reading.
Oh, okay. No, you were so still.
You were so still. We thought you froze.
That's why I was like, wait, did she freeze?
Right. Well, while you're looking that up.
Sorry. I think something happened to him. And so she was declared. Okay. Nope, don't listen to me.
Okay. Well,
and apparently when they bought the team, they ensured that it was going to stay in Buffalo. I didn't know there was ever talk of the Bills leaving Buffalo.
Yes. The Bills. Yes. Before they bought the team, the Bills were rumored to be moving to Toronto for a couple of years.
Yep. They were going to move them to Canada.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, they were real close to Canada anyway, but they was going to move them to actually.
I mean, the border is literally like right there.
Right there.
And part of the field might actually be in Canada.
So
you can walk there.
So the Bills, the Colts, and the Browns are the only teams not owned by white men.
Well,
currently, or white men are not the majority owner.
Right.
So those are the only 3 teams.
That's only until my time machine is working.
Oh, Lord.
But we will see how this coaching process plays out when we come back on the air next month. All coaching spots will be filled, minus whatever team is holding on because
they're trying to take my offensive coordinator.
Yes, your offensive coordinator is a name that's being floated out around there, though there is some skepticism because
it didn't work well with what's his name, who's not with the Giants anymore.
Dayball.
He could have just stayed as our offensive coordinator. But
he could have, but Dayball got screwed by his general manager, who I hope keeps his job because he's a genius. He knows what he's doing.
Oh, yeah, I forgot you loved him so much.
Let's cut Saquon and re-sign Daniel Jones, and then cut Daniel Jones because we can't put him on the field because we want a better draft pick. So yeah, let Joe Shane cook. And long live Jerry Jones.
So James, just one quick thing. You talked about the Steelers only having 3 coaches in their entirety. Falcons are about to hire number 20.
Yep. 20. So again, y'all have had 3 in 10 years.
Right? No, I know.
Y'all had because what? Raheem, and before Raheem was Dan. Mm-hmm. Before Dan was, what was that dude's name? Y'all got him from Jacksonville.
Abraham was the father of Isaac.
We still look. You don't have to remember because that's past history. We still got one more thing to talk about because it's getting late.
We do, and I'm gonna bring it up right now because this was a wonderful moment that happened over the weekend. I got a lot of flack for stupid reasons, and
it was amazing too.
Let's just.
Good day, Lynn Jones, Jacksonville Free Press News. I just want to tell you, congratulations on your success, young man.
Thank you.
You hold your head up, all right? You guys have had a most magnificent season.
Thank you.
You did a great job out there today.
Appreciate
so you just hold your head up, okay?
Thank
and
you,
ladies and gentlemen, Duval, you the one, all right?
you, ma'am.
You keep it going. We got another season, okay?
I appreciate
Take care and much continued success to you and the entire team.
Thank you, ma'am.
Listen.
And I thought that was amazing.
There is no hype like Black lady hype.
Right.
Nobody hype you up. I just pursuant to that, because now I'm back in the game. I sat here and did a whole Duolingo session. But anyway, I tell you know I don't care about football. So I may give you some of my time, but now I'm back. And right at the right time. That's beautiful, first of all. Because when a Black woman compliments you, we mean it. We don't give empty compliments. We don't give empty encouragement. We mean it when we say it. Because she could have just been like, so-and-so, ask a question and move on. She's like, you know what? You hold your head up high. That hold your head up high, she meant that with her whole front row, white hat, church lady soul. I know she a usher. I know it, right?
And she got blonde hair, girl.
Oh, because it's gray. And she's covering it. She's covering all that silver with blonde. I bet she looked good, too.
She do.
But I just saw, it was a couple of Black women, a little on the thicker side, and they were in Japan. And this Japanese guy was rapping in Japanese, like busking. He's like got the little hat out there for money and whatever. And nobody was paying him any attention, like zero. They pretended he was invisible. And here comes this Black woman, hey, hey, hey. And so he starts rapping to her. And she's not 100% vested. She's just like, I want you to say, I see you. I appreciate you. And somebody in the comments translated and said, she probably doesn't know this, but halfway through, he started thanking her for stopping and paying attention to him in his freestyle rap. Because I'm telling you, can't nobody hype you up like a Black woman. I've seen even comedians talk about that. Like, you know what? A black woman told me I was pretty and you can't say shit to me for the rest of the month because I'm cute. Mm-hmm. We do it to each other because I started to compliment you earlier, but I missed my opportunity. I was like, okay, come on, shoulders. I see you up there, Candaysee, with the chocolate skin shoulders, girl.
Thanks, girl.
So again, not to be a downer, but one of the people.
Sound like you about to be a downer.
I know, really. You do.
No, because I'm gonna provide context for the next clip I'm gonna show.
Okay.
Jamel Hill was one of the people who slammed this initially, but to her credit, went on her own show, on her own podcast, and apologized to her directly.
Beyond just certain things, but let me just say very publicly so that people understand where I'm coming from, because I know people saw my tweet, because when I saw your press conference, I didn't see your face and I didn't recognize the voice and I didn't actually know you were a reporter. I was thinking in my mind, like, man, is this a fan? Like, because you just don't hear this at press conferences, people, being consoling a coach after what has been to, as you said, a great season, but a very tough loss in trying to get to the next step. And it was my ignorance that prompted me to receive a lot of backlash that I deserved. And I want to make sure that I publicly apologize to you, Lynn, because being from Detroit, we're both from Detroit, your relationship with the Michigan Chronicle, with the Black press in particular, you have been somebody who has been at this longer than I was even a thought bubble in my mama's mind. And so I want to make sure that I appropriately, earnestly, and genuinely apologize to you. And I want you to know in no way did I mean or intend any disrespect. And I'm embarrassed by some of the things that people in my profession have said. Now, I realize that we may be outdated in this regard. And this is what the Black press, you mentioned this, Dr. Chavis, Mark, you mentioned this as well. And I know you know this too, Sylvia, is that the Black press has a different relationship with the community than, say, an ESPN or a, even with the Florida Times Union. I think that's the Jacksonville paper, right? It's like even they have a much different relationship because you have a much tighter knit relationship with the community. It's that you're covering events and people and talking in the communities in ways that the big.
Okay, we can stop it there.
Yeah, because she was gonna go on for a minute.
But
emotional. What did she actually say? I never saw what it is that she said.
It was her tweet that said, "Whose auntie is this in the audience? Does she actually have credentials?" Something to that effect. Let me find it direct.
Yeah. She goes, "Was that couldn't be a reporter? It was
that couldn't be a reporter asking that question."
I said when they showed it live, I was like, who mama in there saying the good stuff, piping them up? I didn't even think, but I heard her say, I'm from Jacksonville Free Press, so I knew that she was a reporter, but I was just thinking to myself, isn't that amazing that she didn't ask him no questions? She got to be like, I literally was like, who is that? That's somebody's mama.
Yep.
That's somebody's mama. To Jamel's credit, first off, when I tell people to apologize, this is what I mean. Don't just be like, well, I'm sorry if I misunderstood, or I'm sorry if you took it that way. She said, I was wrong. I deserved the heat I got, and I was ignorant, and I'm embarrassed. I mean, that was a good apology. That's the apology that somebody can forgive you for. Instead of, I'm sorry if anyone was hurt out here or somewhere. She did a good job. And I just said the same thing, because y'all know I don't know many people. So when you were telling me like her hair is blonde, I was like, yeah, because when she called him young man, I was like, she got to be 60, right? I stand by the fact that she's probably an usher. I'm gonna stand on that one.
You saw her right there with the black. You saw her with the black shirt.
Now she's no longer an usher. She's a church mother at this point.
She's a mother. White hat front row. Yes, that is her. Cock, ace, deuce, just like that.
But I thought it was amazing to have, like, that's what you heard first. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, when they went to the press conference, it's not like they were like, oh, and this just happened. It literally was live. So she was the first person to talk. And she was like, you hold your head up. Like, yes, Josh Allen just ran over you and you thought you was going to win and all that good stuff. But you hold your head up.
It was the adult equivalent of...
You had to get your dig in.
I did. Sorry.
You're not.
Look,
you're not
my
sorry.
team's not going.
What did I just say about apologies? You don't look sorry at all.
Not in the least.
It was the adult version of "Get up, I'm gonna take you to McDonald's." Like,
Yes, you can have Dairy Queen. Any flavor you want from Baskin Robbins.
Right. You did a good job. You did your best. That's all Mama asked of you, is to do your best. That's exactly what that was.
We felt that. We felt that as Black people.
And the discourse this week, like I said, has been anywhere between horrible to we need more of this, because
we need more of that.
So often, if you ever watch a press conference after a football game, some of the reporters ask the most mundane, asinine, ignorant, dumb questions.
Oh my God, yes.
I'll use this as an example because we saw it happen every single week. Shedeur Sanders, after every single game, was questioned about his head coach, his offensive coordinator, and the play calling. Once he became a starter, because the starting quarterback is always one of the people who speaks after a game, win or lose. And he literally was getting the same questions about those three things every single week. And the questions were set up to bait him to say something where his response was going to throw one of those three under the bus. And to his credit, he knew how to handle all of that with the savvy of a vet. What are you asking me? And sometimes he turned it on the reporter. What exactly are you asking me right now? Are you looking for a response where I, diss my head coach, diss my play caller? Like, we're all in this together. We a team. We can't have any of y'all outside noise people try to come up here and create nonsense and discord between us. We are all working together to try to win games.
It's a bigger problem than just the NFL, because you see some of our favorite gifts and memes, or just whatever you want to call them, come from people asking somebody a stupid question.
Yes.
You know, you got this one when you walk off, you got LeBron picking up his briefcase and everything. All of that comes from asking asinine questions. But beyond that, I think that journalism as a whole, as an industry, has turned into TMZ. It's always about a gotcha moment, trying to get a soundbite, trying to get somebody riled up so you can have anger and violence to lead with, you know, every night. And even like I was watching something today, and there was a stupid dingbat reporter trying to follow Ilhan Omar through the halls of Congress, and Ilhan was like, "Girl, whatever. You're one of those people. You're a mess." I mean, she didn't say anything out of pocket. But her whole demeanor was, "You're a mess." And so, since she wasn't getting a rise out of her about Tim Walz or anything else, she was like, you know, something Kamala, and she specifically mispronounced Kamala Harris's name to try to get a rise out of Ilhan Omar. All she did was smile and keep walking. But all of this speaks to an inability to recognize the difference between news and entertainment.
Yes.
And everything has turned into entertainment, which turns into shock value and trying to have someone be caught in a vulnerable moment. That's all they look for now. And so again, we need more of this, because this woman, honestly, there may have been other reporters in there that was like, you know what, he had a good season. They weren't going to ask that though. They were going to say, how do you feel to end a really great season with a bomb like this, you know, and try to upset him? Think about what they did to Sha'Carri Richardson when they dropped the bomb that her grandmother had died on her during an interview. You know, all to try to get a reaction to go viral. And all of that is ruining the industry of journalism, and specifically the relationship between reporters and sports figures across all of the professional sports. So I love what she did. I didn't know she was a reporter either. It did sound like somebody's mama got the mic. But
she introduced herself from where she was from first, before she went into that.
Yeah, I didn't catch it because I wasn't paying attention. But yeah, but still, we need more people treating other people like human beings. She treated him like someone that needed a little consolation, and she gave it to him. And we should have more of that. That's empathy. Yeah. So
to piggyback on that, Joy, later on in the clip that I showed with Jamel's apology, they do go into discussing how now it feels like reporters in general, not just sports, are sent out to places literally just to antagonize and get a rise out of whoever it is they're interviewing, whatever press tour they're in. So Jamel acknowledges that too. So and the secondary thing I want to add on to that is, this is how you create distrust from the sports side of things between athletes and reporters.
I just said that.
No, I'm saying I'm
agreeing
with you. I'm agreeing with you. I'm elaborating further to say that this is actually how Stephen A. got to where he is.
Yeah, and Stephen A. can
say what you will, good, bad, and different about him, but because he could connect with the NBA players, is why they trusted him to talk to him. There was literally a span of almost a decade in which NBA players literally were not talking to any other reporter except Stephen A. Smith on the national stage.
Right, because he could empathize with them, he could relate to them, they related to him. And I get that. He just flew too close to the sun. He started talking about something he ain't had no business talking about. And he started believing his own hype.
Trying to keep it positive. I know we can't. Stephen A. is a clown. We get that.
Yeah.
But that's how we get to this point. And ultimately it involves players creating their own podcasts, both former and active. Because now it's like, the narrative about me is wrong, so I need to speak my truth.
Because they're eclectic.
Full circle. I love it, Candaysee. Nicely done.
Eclectic.
Smart athletes who know how to intelligently and emotionally speak. Oh gosh, I got nothing on that one. I can't even follow that up properly.
Say good night, Gracie.
Good night, Gracie.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. So anybody got anything else before we what's that?
Huh?
No, what'd you say?
Thanks for coming out. God bless and good night.
Yeah, pretty much. If no one else has anything else to say, we will end it here and see you next month after the Super Bowl. So buenas noches.
Bad Bunny.
And Bad Bunny.
So many stories left to tell, even if we have to ourselves. Can't keep history on the shelf. If they won't tell it, we will.
If this the land of the free, it was a freedom then, when they annexed Hawaii and called it Cedar Lands, without any type of payment and no signing off. Called themselves a republic in 1894. 1.2 million acres overtaken from the native Hawaiians. When they resisted, the West retaliated in violence and erasure. The Hawaiian language is banned as part of colonialism's plan to expand, yeah.
Stuck between a rock and a hard place. Multiple bombings of Kaho'olawe as a part of their ongoing war with Asia. Used it as a place for target practice. No consent or compensation. Colonizers call for annexation. No work out for all the locals. School will never let you know. So many stories left to tell, even if we have to ourselves. Can keep history on the shelf. If they won't tell it, we will. Too many stories left to tell, even if we have to ourselves. Can keep history on the shelf. If they won't tell it, we will. We will.
So if you put Hawaii in a perspective, well, Black and Asian history is interconnected. Considering the fight with the Pacific, then of course, versus Asia, they was treated as a middleman for war, but didn't let the Western colorism run its course, cause dark skin was a sign of dignity to core. The land was taken in the name of capitalism, when prior to it was an actual kingdom. Clap back at the system.
Stuck between a rock and a hard place. Multiple bombings of Kaho'olawe as a part of their ongoing war with Asia. Used it as a place for target practice. No consent or compensation. Colonizers call for annexation. No work out for all the locals. School will never let you know. So many stories left to tell, even if we have to ourselves. Can keep history on the shelf. If they won't tell it, we will. Too many stories left to tell, even if we have to ourselves. Can keep history on the shelf. If they won't tell it, we will. So many stories left to tell, even if we have to ourselves. Can keep history on the shelf. If they won't tell it, we will. Too many stories left to tell, even if we have to ourselves. Can keep history on the shelf. If they won't tell it, we will. We will.